So one of the arguments that you hear from like the average man on the street, they say this about EVs.
What do you do when you have to replace the battery pack? That's going to be expensive.
So let's go to the data.
Data.
A new study from the Canadian telematics company Geotab shows that the vast majority of EV batteries will likely outlast the electric cars they're in.
In 2019, Geotab published a similar report, and at the time, that data showed that the average EV pack was degrading at an average of 2.3% per year.
Now, using new data from fleet usage, their latest report shows a dramatic improvement. Battery packs are degrading at a lower rate of only 1.8% per year.
Doing the math, that means that batteries, on average, would still have 80% of their health after 12 years. Geotab estimates that batteries could last 20 years or more at their current average degradation.
Geotab says, according to our data, the simple answer is that the vast majority of batteries will outlast the usable life of the vehicle and will never need to be replaced. If an average EV battery degrades at 1.8% per year, it will still have over 80% state of health after 12 years, generally beyond the usual life of a fleet vehicle.
Another interesting tidbit from their study shows that EVs that are used heavily don't seem to have any more battery degradation than low-use ones.
That's interesting. So batteries don't really care if they're used. It's just time.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting that. I would have thought the more you use it, the more worn out it would be.
But I also noticed this little tidbit. Geotab did notice that there was, quote, observable difference in battery health between cars that routinely charge on level 2 compared to those that charge on level 1. Level 1 is obviously 120 volts, and level 2 is 240 volts.
And usually at a higher amperage as well.
Right. So this is interesting, and it's something you can do even if you don't have 120 volts at home. Like if you're normally plugging into your 240 volt charger, you can lower the amp rate of charging in your car.
On some electric vehicles.
Teslas, you can.
Most electric vehicles, I should say, because most electric vehicles are Teslas. So, but yeah, I think that's an interesting point, because we usually talk about like, oh, fast charging is bad, but it's interesting to think that there's a difference between level 1 and level 2.
Yeah. So, I mean, this taught me a couple things that I kind of already knew, but just reinforced it, which is, yeah, it doesn't really matter if your car sits a lot or you don't drive a lot. And if you charge at the lowest possible rate, that helps its battery as well.
So I think that if you like pull in at home and you have a fairly high state of charge and you know that you would be able to charge up overnight at a lower rate, you
Just
might want to do that.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. I mean, leaves a lot of room for you to accidentally leave it at charging at 4 amps, and then you come back the next day and you're like, oh, I only got 10 miles.
Oh no!
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for watching Now You Know Clips.
You can watch full episodes of Tesla Time News on Tuesdays and in-depths on Fridays. Just click the link down below and head over to the Now You Know channel.